I seen someone asked in a comment, does Ryan still try and contact me? And I did see that he was on live last night. Ken and I went to dinner last night at this pasta place around town, and I looked at my phone and I had like 5 missed calls from a random number, and I'm like, I don't recognize this number at all. And so I call it back, is, why the fuck are you talking about me? And da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, whoa, why are you calling me right now? And like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you were posting something on Facebook about me. And he was coming at me aggressive. And I'm like, I didn't post anything about you on Facebook. What are you talking about? And he's like, that post of life with Gypsy Rose or something like that. And he was talking about that picture that's going viral, that it did not come from my account. I didn't post this picture, but it's a picture of me and him side, like, together, and then a picture of me and Ken. And it said something to the fact of I had to kiss a frog to get to the prince or something. I did not write that. I may have not been respectful in certain areas. I may have not always been that thoughtful of how things would appear to him when posting pictures of me and Ken. But the last thing I'm going to do is be cruel. I might live my life and enjoy my time with Ken and my relationship with Ken, but I'm not going to be cruel to Ryan. And I'm not going to ever say anything like that about him. I'm just not. I'm not going to be disrespectful. And so when I told him that that was not me that posted that, he calmed down. He was chill. And then he's like, well, okay, well, how are you doing? And I'm like, I have got to go. I'm eating dinner. I got to go. And he's like, well, don't hang up on me. So I hung up. Ken was sitting across from me, and Ken had overheard Ryan yelling at me through the phone. And then Ryan started texting me. I looked at my phone, and Ken is like, what is he saying? And I handed Ken my phone. He read the text, and Ken got a little upset because Ryan was out of pocket. He was being aggressive. And so emotions got the better of Ken, and he started texting Ryan. It got aggressive, back and forth in an argument. Once Ken cooled down, he's like, I shouldn't have said all that stuff. And I was like, it's okay. You were upset. You were being protective over me. I get it. And I blocked Ryan's number. So at least it was another fake number that he creates to call me or text me. So that's what really went down last night. And I just feel like if he got to speak his piece last night on the situation, because he did acknowledge it, I can too. I'm about ready to change my number. Like, I don't know what to do at this point. And like, it made me sad that last night was like our 3rd year, like, anniversary of us like knowing each other, or like meeting in person and all that. I didn't remember that. So after that, I felt bad for answering him with, why are you calling me? So it made me feel like a piece of shit. I try to be sensitive to him. I really do. And I mean, I wish him nothing but the best. I heard that he went out on a date, I guess. Good for him. I kept telling him for the longest time, go get laid, do what you need to do to mend your heart. I'm all for it. And I'm totally fine with him doing lives. There's some things that I feel like if you're gonna talk about your life, then talk about your life. Don't talk about me. Talk about your hobbies. Talk about wrestling. Talk about what makes your heart tick. Like, make it your life. Don't make it all about me. No, I'm not divorced yet. We still have till October for the divorce to be final. We have court this month, at the end of this month. I watched the latest episode of our show, and woo, was it interesting. I think next week will even be more interesting. Every week, like, even though it's my life and, like, I know what all was filmed in that time, watching the show in hindsight, there's so much that, like, I look back on, and it's so eye-opening. Like, when I was texting my sister in the car, I was focused on my phone, so I didn't really know what was all going on around me, but to look at Ryan and see how, like, he was hovering over my phone and is like, what you doing? Who you texting? Like, dude, even I was shocked by that. But I gotta give props to my sister. Like, I feel like my sister she's so level-headed. It was such a good episode. And I know they didn't show it, but, like, we went to a little boutique in her area, and we went shopping, and she was showing me what was, like, in style and trendy and stuff like that. And I was like, girl, there's a 10-year age gap between me and my sister. So she's 23, and I will be 33 on the 27th. So here she is, like, picking out these really cute, like, little sundresses and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's cute for you. And I was like, I think I need a little something more age appropriate. I left Ryan, and I moved from Lake Charles to cut off with my parents. I had to get another therapist because the distance between Cutoff and Lake Charles is 3 hours away, like, from each other. So I couldn't keep the same therapist that I had. Therapy's going pretty well, actually. We're working on trust. So right now, things that I'm working on in therapy is trust. I feel like I have a lot of trust issues. Ryan was saying a bunch of stuff last night. I think I'm just starting to expect that every Tuesday he's gonna hop on a live and try to defend himself because another episode came out and he didn't look exactly the best. I always said I am not gonna trash talk Ryan. I'm gonna let the show and his actions and my actions speak volumes more than defending ourselves, more than trying to argue with each other, throw shade at each other. I'm not about that. If he's some type of way, people are going to find out on their own by watching the show. And if I'm painted out to be the bad guy, well, then clearly I made some mistakes along those journeys that I've been making too. I'm not perfect. At least I could take accountability and say, hey, I'm still learning. I am happy to have my relationship with my dad. The thing about me and my dad is, like, when I was in prison, I wasn't able to have a really close bond with him because in prison, like, okay, so my dad is a boat captain. Let's just get that clear and out of the way. So having a dad that has a job that takes him offshore for like 3 months at a time, 2 to 3 months at a time, and then him come home for only a month. The majority of the time, I'd call Christy's phone when I was in prison. I'd call and talk to Christy for everything. And so, like, we didn't have Skype or video call or any of that stuff in prison. So when my dad was offshore, his like sleep schedule was, you know, a little messed up because he has a certain work schedule as a captain. And so, like, I never knew when he was asleep or when he was awake. I never knew if he was working or if he was on break. So calling him when he was at work was challenging. We just didn't have that communication capability really good. So I'd call Christy, and so I developed a stronger bond with Christy over the last 8.5 years that I was in prison, more so than my dad. So coming out of prison, I'm like just now starting to get to know my dad. And what I've learned is he's funny. Like, he's a hoot, for real. He tells lots of good stories. He has his friends come over, and like, it's cool getting to know him as an adult because I can ask him all of those questions that like I wanted to ask as a kid. Like, I wanted to ask, like, why did you and Mom's, thank you, Elephant in the Galaxy, why in you and Mom's marriage, like, what happened between you two? Why did you divorce? Like, how did you guys meet? Where did y'all meet? Like, how did she find out that I was pregnant? Like, did she take a test? Did she start throwing up? Like, I want to know about my history. And the only person that's here to tell me any stories is my dad. And I actually learned a lot from my dad. We sat down. We have, like, at their house, there's this shed. It's big. We call it, like, the man cave. And me and my dad kind of share it. It's a man gypsy cave. And we just sit and we chat. We rock in the rocking chairs. We swap stories until, like, midnight. And it's really nice getting to connect with him. What's something that I wish I would have told my younger self? Well, I guess you could say in context to that conversation that what I was just talking about. I wish I could have told my younger self that my dad does love me and, like, wanted to be a part of my life. Growing up, when I tell you, my mom said so many things about my dad. Like, my mom told me this one story, and of course it's not true because I asked my dad, but there was one story that my mother had told me that I was a baby and my mom was at home with me, and my dad came home drunk one night, and I was crying and crying and crying, and so my dad picks me up by my throat and then throws me at my mom and is like, shut her up or I will. And this is the kind of stuff that my mother told me about my father growing up. So to answer the question of, like, why didn't I reach out to my dad? Well, shit. I grew up thinking he was a piece of shit. I mean, I didn't know him, so all I had to go on at that time was her stories of him. So, and then when I got older, I got out of prison, I asked him, I'm like, Dad, my mom told me this story about you. Is this true? He's like, absolutely not. That is crazy. Absolutely not. So, I mean, in my head, I have her version of things, and then I have to sort that out with the reality. It's hard. Because it's like, as a child, I already had like a, formed opinion about my dad and what he was like without actually knowing him. So to have to change all that, it's pretty crazy. Have I watched the movies that they made about me? I mean, no. So the only thing that I watched, or I was able to watch in prison about me, was the Dr. Phil episode. Which, I mean, that was a long time ago. I think I filmed that in 2017. My bangs are starting to get a little frizzy. We just wrapped up filming probably about 3 weeks ago. So we had been filming hardcore the first 4 months that I was out of prison. Then it started tapering off a little bit. But like the most recent update was 3 weeks ago. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I'm just rambling. I'm not even talking about anything important. What are you doing?
Nothing, just cleaning up. Parker says hi.
Hey, buddy. Parker's in the background. Hey. Hi. What are we having for dinner? We're having the baked chicken and what else?
I'm gonna make homemade mashed potatoes and peas.
Oh, I love your mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Are you gonna make the gravy with it?
Sure, if you want.
The gravy was good too.
Okay. You gonna start cooking now?
When would it be ready?
What time is it?
Somebody asked me that too on a live. Okay, no. Oh, okay, it's on the TV. Duh. I was way off.
If I start making it now, it won't be ready until like 7.
Okay.
Does that work?
That works for me.
All right, I'll get started.
All right.
Need Parker in here? Or?
Yeah, he's cool here.
Okay.
I'm just chilling.
All right.
Love you.
Love you.
What is my zodiac sign? I'm a Leo. I'm very, very much my sign. So, Leos are, for the most part, very loyal. They're loyal to their friends. They're very proud. Have a lot of courage. I'm a loyal friend. Just because I wasn't loyal to my marriage doesn't make me not loyal. Hang on over there. Oh, the room looks a mess. I really don't want to show the whole room. I'm gonna go and see what he's doing in the kitchen. Hey, Parker. Come on, buddy. Coming to visit you. I'm just coming to see you. Are you watching me right now?
Nope.
Oh, so, what do you got going on? Chicken breast?
I'm brining the chicken right now.
You're what?
Brining the chicken right now.
What's brining mean?
So you submerge it in salty water and just get it to room temperature pretty much.
Okay.
And do that for about half an hour. And then I gotta start peeling the potatoes. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty early in the process right now.
Okay. Anything I can help with? I mean,
No.
I don't want to touch the chicken. But
Nope, I'm good. I gotta
okay. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna head on back.
Let me know if you need anything.
All right. Come on, Parker. Come on, boy. Do-do-do. Coming back to the room. Set up in my little area. He makes the best mashed potatoes. The best homemade mashed potatoes, guys. So good. What's my dream car? I don't know. I need to learn how to drive first. Oh, the matching tattoo? You want to see the matching tattoo? Okay. Come over here. There it is. Beautiful husky. Would I ever get a nose ring? No. Just got a nose job not long ago, letting my nose heal. Takes a year to like fully heal and settle in. So I will not be piercing it in any sort of way. I don't want to get any face piercings. My ears are pierced and that's all that I want pierced. Did I watch the presidential debate? No. I can't vote, guys, so I'm on parole and parolees cannot vote, so. I think my opinion, my political opinions don't matter. Or at least in the eyes of the government, my opinions about politics don't matter. Am I in therapy? Yes, I am in therapy. I have a really nice therapist. Lately, I could say we've been working on more of the things that are pressing in my life. So things that bother me, and that are like at the forefront of my brain. That's the kind of stuff that we're working on right now. So working on trust right now. We have noticed that a lot of the things that come up that are triggers for me is tied to my trauma, obviously, but we've been able to like nail down what really is some of those causes, and the root of it. So we know like people have different stages of their life that they grow from. So the way my therapist told me is that like my trauma, like my most damaging trauma happened when I was like 9 or 10. And so that explains why my personality, when I react to something, I don't respond, I react. So when I am reacting to a situation, there is 2, let's just say ages. That's how she explained it to me. There's 2 ages that I am. Because when you have trauma, you are stunted at the point in which that trauma happened. And so for me, it was 10. So when I react to a situation that I am triggered by, my 10-year-old self reverts back to that mentality of a 10-year-old. So some of the things that I say and do reflect someone much younger than my 32-year-old self. With also that being said, some other traumas happened when I was 16. So when I am reacting to a situation under stress where I feel controlled, that defensive, snarky behavior that wants to clap back, that wants to defend myself, that wants to say something sarcastic, comes out at that time. So, my therapist broke it down to where it's very enlightening of why in the show, like why Ryan and I would get into arguments, why I would say some of the things that I said to him. And it's because I'm reverting back to that mentality of that trauma. And so there was times that I told Ryan, like, you're acting like my mother, like, you control me, you're this, you're that. And yeah, I did call Ryan some things and point out those behaviors because I felt like those were triggering to me. So in the show, when I had grabbed my phone and we were arguing about me confiding in my sister about our sex life that wasn't going so well at the time, he got defensive. He started to argue with me. So I grabbed my phone, started recording. Because I knew in my head, I'm like, he acts one way behind closed doors. And then another way when there's a camera on him. So I'm going to grab this phone and I'm going to have this as proof that this is how he's behaving. So I expressed that at that time, I'm like, you're telling me I can't talk to my sister about adult things that are woman things that I don't really want to talk to Christy about it. I don't really want to talk to my dad about it. So I want to talk to my sister about it. So I felt like confiding in my sister about those kinds of things was okay. And it wasn't until like I got home and I started to tell him a little bit more and he started to get angry. So I said, you're being like my mom. Like, you are telling me to not talk to family. That's exactly what my mom did to me. And, later in that week, I talked to my therapist about it. And I'm like, I said some things to Ryan in an argument. I feel bad for saying those things to him because I know he doesn't want to come across that way. I know he doesn't want to be compared to my mom. So how do I explain to him that when I feel triggered or when I feel controlled, that when I say you're being like my mom, and how do I not make that an insult? And that's when she started to break it down for me, and the psychology behind that. So, I don't know. I guess keeping all that in mind, it's really helped me process that. Because it's like when I get upset, I can think back to that and be like, okay, I am reverting back to that 16-year-old self, and I don't want to say something that'll hurt someone's feelings. So I might write it down. I might journal. Journaling's really healthy. Like, you don't want to tell someone that you love something mean, but if you're in the moment and you really, really want to say it to them, journal it. And then take the page and then crumple it up, throw it in the trash, rip it up, throw it in the toilet, flush it down. That way you're not hurting that other person's feelings. It's getting it out without actually the follow-through of hurting someone's feelings.
Hey.
What are you doing?
So, I was thinking...
What do you think about?
Are you still on live?
Yeah?
Okay.
You're
I was
fine.
thinking that after we eat dinner, we could go back to Lake Pontchartrain and walk it again.
What?
The weather is, like, nice out. It's, like, it's...
Wait, now? It is raining!
Well, it's cold. It's cooler. It's like... It's like 80 instead of 95.
You have an umbrella?
It'll stop raining by then. I already looked it up.
Alright.
It'll be, you know, it'll be overcast, but...
I'll wear... You want to, like, jog and stuff? You want to, like...
No.
I don't know. You want to exercise?
I want to walk.
You just want to walk?
On the trail, yeah.
I think we should take Parker, too. He needs... Look, his ears are already popping up. He's like, walk?
Yeah, well, don't say it again.
Oh, sorry. Ignore that, Parker. I did not say W-A-L-K.
Spell it for him. Yeah, I mean,
his ears are just perked up.
That'd be cool. We could take him and we can just walk the trail.
Yeah, that'd be
Maybe
fun.
hop the fence and go across the seawall.
You're crazy. You're insane.
I just want to let you know. That's something I thought of.
I'm planning to get off here soon because I think I've rambled entirely too long.
I'm going to come peel some potatoes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna go peel some potatoes and help with dinner, guys. All right. Thank you for watching. Have a good night, everybody.